Low appetite? Let's learn something from competitive eaters. So I made a post on Instagram, and I'm going to shoot a video to talk about this a little more in depth. I think his name is Adam Rickman. It's Man versus Food, and he's trying to do this ice cream challenge, and he gets full and he can't eat anymore. So he orders up French fries, and he eats the French fries, and suddenly he can eat more ice cream. Does that seem strange? You're full, but eating can make you hungry so that you can eat even more? That doesn't sound logical at first, but it is, because it all has to do with your brain. The reason why you're hungry is because of your brain. I've tried talking about this in the past. People always get really bent out of shape when I talk about this. I don't know why people get bent out of shape. I tell people all the time, calorie counting is not a strategy that manages hunger. And if you aren't paying attention to hunger, if you're not paying attention to behavior, then the diet will fail, regardless of whatever you're doing. So I don't care how good you are at counting calories. If you're hungry all the time, eventually you're going to give in. So learning how to manage hunger is the trick. I don't know why that is controversial, but it is. It's always this thing that anytime I talk about managing your hunger, people get really bent out of shape. It's always like, I can't believe I'm doing this video. You guys always downvote these, but whatever. I'm going to talk about it anyways because I think it might be useful to some people. So some people have the opposite problem. They're not too hungry. They don't have enough hunger. They have a low appetite. In fact, you'd be amazed how many guys tell me, man, I just have a hard time eating enough. Like I eat till I'm full, and then I'm not even hungry. And I understand. I do. Because I've been there. Trying to move up in weight classes and stuff like that is not fun. If you think it's hard dieting, try forcing yourself to eat. Especially whenever you feel like shit, and then your stomach's all bloated, and you feel like distended and uncomfortable, and then you have to go train on top of it. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks. I know, woe is me. I'm not complaining. It's one of those things where I just got it out, man. I just got it out, but it does suck. It does suck. Dieting sucks too. They both suck. They just suck differently. So, here we go. I have a few notes. This is rare that I ever have notes, but I made a post, and so I have a few notes. So one of the reasons why eating French fries, being salty and everything, it's palate fatigue. So if you eat the same food, eventually you get tired of eating it. So like sit down and eat nothing but potatoes, you'll find that in that meal you start to feel full. But if you put other things into that meal, the more variety there is, the more you'll eat. This is well documented. The more different flavors and textures there are on your plate, the more you'll eat. So if you eat nothing but plain boiled potatoes, you'll actually feel full pretty quickly. Same thing's actually true. This is something I point out of the carnivore diet. If you sit down and eat nothing but steak, you will feel full. Yeah, it's hard to eat. Like, try to sit down and eat 5,000 calories of steak. You can't do it. You can't, you'll just feel like shit. I mean, I suppose you can do it, but you basically have to force yourself to do it. You're going to feel full. But boy, you could put down a lot of calories if you had some steak and maybe a baked potato with, sour cream and butter on it, and, maybe some Coca-Cola and, a slice of chocolate pie or something. Wow, real quick you can put those calories down because of all these different flavors and different textures. It actually changes the signaling in the hypothalamus of your brain, which is what regulates your appetite. You've got this ghrelin and leptin thing going on. So in any case, here are some other things that increase your appetite, and these are some things that I learned just from learning about competitive eating, as well as listening to bodybuilders talk about different tricks they do to increase their appetite. So one of them is sugar and fructose actually block leptin signaling, which decreases satiety. So if you get a small amount of sugar or some fruit at the beginning of your meal, like if you have a little bit of fruit before your meal, or you have a little bit of sugar, you'll be able to eat more. I think Stan Efferding actually even talks about this. You can eat an orange before your meal, and it will help you feel hungry and eat the whole thing. Another trick is to add dextrose powder to your rice. So if you're eating chicken and rice, if you throw a little bit of dextrose powder on your rice, you will eat more. Yeah, sugar. It's awesome. Sugar increases appetite. And we've seen this over and over and over again in different studies. I know people are like, oh, here we go bashing sugar again. No, I'm telling you, this is great. Sugar is a great tool. So is fructose. It increases your appetite. So if you have a low appetite, utilize this. Use it to your advantage. Maple syrup apparently is very, very effective. Maple syrup increases appetite. So does agave nectar. I think agave nectar is actually higher in fructose than high fructose corn syrup. So if you are paleo or something, you could use maple syrup or you could use some agave nectar. And yep, that agave will increase your appetite. You can put that on your rice as well. So you'll be able to eat more before you feel full. Then I found some stuff from the Mayo Clinic talking about how to increase appetite in cancer patients. So the Mayo Clinic recommends that you have lots of small meals and you snack between meals. This will increase appetite as well as increasing your overall caloric intake. So ghrelin is it basically promotes hunger. Like, you don't have to get into all this weird shit about like peptides and how many blondes there are and shit. You have these two things going on, ghrelin and leptin. Leptin makes you feel satiety, you feel full, right? Satiated. Ghrelin makes you hungry. Ghrelin runs on this 4-hour cycle. And so if you go longer than 4 hours without eating, all right, you'll have a decrease in appetite. But if you take that out to about 6 hours, 8 hours, your appetite actually goes up. So fasting increases your appetite. This is interesting because, well, we can get into this more later, but basically if you fast, you're more likely to overcompensate and overeat because you've let that ghrelin level rise even further. Okay? So you have two different strategies here. One, eat frequently and snack, so you're always bumping that thing, keeping them closer than 4 hours, right? Because it drops after 4 hours. But then if you let it get to like 6, 8 hours, you'll overeat. So there's kind of like this weird window between that 4 and 6 hour part where you're going to end up eating less. It's just a suggestion if you're trying to put on weight, maybe listen to Dave Tate about his whole thing of eating every hour on the hour. He was eating chocolate bars. That probably does keep your appetite going. Like, I realize that that's not a lot of calories in a chocolate bar, but yeah, if you think about it from a logical standpoint, you're constantly pushing that hunger button. So when you do get to a meal, you're very hungry for it. The Mayo Clinic also recommended peanut butter. Apparently peanut butter is very good for increasing your appetite. That doesn't surprise me. It's got the fat, it's got the salt, and, well, most peanut butters have sugar added to them. I would tell you that it's hard to actually eat just 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. Most people overload that tablespoon. They'd be surprised how little a tablespoon is. And of course, we all know you could sit down and eat a whole jar of peanut butter with a spoon, because peanut butter is delicious. And so apparently peanut butter is one of the things they recommend to cancer patients for them to increase their caloric intake. Okay. Some other things that I thought were interesting, and I believe Andrew Huberman has covered this. If you're distracted while you're eating, if you're scrolling on your phone, people eat 18 to 26% more. So just distracting yourself while you're eating will make you eat more. Watching TV, if you're eating while you watch TV, you eat 13 to 15% more. So that's another way for you to sneak in some extra calories. Don't sit there and actually enjoy your meal and pay attention to it. That would be terrible. Because you want to be distracted to make sure that you're not paying attention to how much you eat. And I think that's an interesting strategy. I haven't tried that, but I don't really want to try that. I try to avoid social media and stuff like that. I realize that's ironic being that I post shit on YouTube, but I really, I don't like Facebook, and I spend minimal time on IG. When I use IG, I basically just check a couple friends of mine that I actually want to see what they post, and I try not to scroll through my newsfeed too much. There's so much garbage out there. People are so angry. That's not good for you. You should watch what you put into your mind just as much as you watch what you put into your mouth. So anyways, skipping breakfast. Now this is another one that gets interesting. This is like I was talking about the ghrelin with the 4-hour cycle. People who skip breakfast, it suppresses their appetite, and so they tend to eat roughly 550 calories less for the day if they skip breakfast. However, if you were to skip both breakfast and lunch, now you've gone too far with your fast, and so people then overcompensate and eat more. So I think it'd be kind of like sleep pressure. If you go a really long time without sleep, you develop what's called sleep pressure, and now you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted, I really want to sleep. You'll zonk out for like 10, 12 hours. Well, if you fast for long enough, you get super hungry. And so fasting for a long time actually increases your appetite. So if you skip breakfast, but then you have lunch, you'll probably eat less for the whole day. But if you skip breakfast and lunch and push it even further, you push that fasting window even further, people tend to overcompensate and eat more. You probably don't need me to tell you about liquid calories. Liquid calories really don't make people feel full. That's why shakes are awesome. When I was trying to gain weight, I used to make these, I used to pull out the blender, and I used to put kefir and whole milk and bananas and blueberries, and maybe throw like a scoop of whey protein in there, and maybe some almond butter, and just blend that up and drink it. That was a great way for me to get a whole bunch of calories down, and I didn't feel very full. I could usually eat a meal like an hour or two afterwards as well. Because liquid calories, well, you're not chewing it. Chewing actually makes you feel full. If you chew your food, you will feel more full than if you were just a bite swallow or eat a liquid meal. So liquid calories actually stimulate appetite, because if you get a small amount of liquid calories in, your body's like, well, there's food coming in, but we didn't chew it or anything, so like your body actually ramps up your appetite. If you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, those are high in fiber. Fiber is actually very good at satiating you. It'll reduce your appetite. So if you were trying to lose weight, you'd want to eat a whole bunch of vegetables or fruits that have fiber. Eat the actual fruit, not fruit juice, but the actual fruit. All that fiber will definitely make you feel full. So if you're going to do that kind of stuff, maybe juice it, put it in a blender, drink it. I'm not telling you don't consume fruits and vegetables, but I am trying to tell you that if you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables with a lot of fiber in them, it will make you feel full. Plus, you have to chew them a lot. Try to eat like a pound of broccoli, like you have to chew it. Sweet and savory foods. Our bodies love sweet and savory foods. Your brain likes sweet and savory foods. It will increase your appetite. Like we're just wired to go after those things. MSG. MSG is shown to increase appetite. If you put MSG on your food or eat foods that are high in MSG, you'll eat more of them. They increase appetite. Something else to consider here is apparently diet soda. So diet soda compared to water. So I don't know how it compares to regular cola or soda, whatever you want to drink. What I was able to find is that diet soda compared to water. So people who drink diet soda with their meal ate more. If you drink water with your meal, you eat less. That's probably due to something to do with like the stretch receptors in your stomach. The water with the food causes your stomach to stretch more, so you feel full faster. That may make sense. I don't know why diet soda would be different, because I kind of feel like that would still fill your stomach up, especially with the carbonation, but maybe it's something to do with the sweet taste. If you combine that sweet aspartame, it's like sweeter than sugar from as far as like a molecular standpoint. Like aspartame is sweeter per gram or something like that than sugar is. So maybe it's the fact that you're combining this sweet taste with your food. So if you think about it like you're eating a hamburger or you're eating a steak or whatever, and you're drinking a diet soda with it, that sweet taste probably relieves some of the palate fatigue, and so you're able to eat more of it. That would make logical sense from a neurological standpoint, just the way our brains function. It's receiving two different signals, sweet, and also you're getting whatever flavor of the food that is that you're eating. So you're getting these two different flavors at once. That makes sense to me. And so apparently, competitive eaters will drink diet soda with their meal, because I guess having those flavor variety, texture variety changes things too. If you have different textures, people eat more. And finally, something else that I found kind of interesting is actually echinacea. Echinacea can increase your appetite. I never knew that. But then again, I've only taken echinacea whenever I'm sick, so maybe I don't have much of an appetite in the first place, because most of us lose our appetite when we're sick. But echinacea apparently increases appetite. I haven't tried this, but yeah, maybe I will. Like I said, I only take it when I'm sick. And fish oil. Apparently fish oil can increase your appetite as well. I'm not sure how much I buy that one, though. I feel like that one's a little... Probably depends on how much fish oil you take. Because most of us are just damn expensive. Nordic Naturals is not cheap. So most of us are taking like 1-2 grams of fish oil a day. I doubt that's enough to really make an impact. But probably if you are taking a larger dose of fish oil, it could very well increase your appetite. That doesn't surprise me. It makes logical sense on some level, but I doubt most people are taking large doses of fish oil, or at least I would hope you wouldn't, because it does have a blood thinning effect. So, in any case, those are just some strategies that I picked up from, looking through Reddit and stuff like that, and watching videos from people talking about competitive eating. Competitive eating is interesting to me because I'm weird and I like those topics. Plus, at some point, I plan on actually getting my name on the wall. There's apparently a burger place here in Duluth. And they have this hamburger that's like 6 pounds. Plus, it has like bacon and cheese on it too. So it's like 6 pounds of ground beef with like a pound or two of bacon and cheese, and oh, and there's a pound of French fries as well. So it's like 7 pounds or 8 pounds worth of food. You have to eat it in less than an hour. That's the challenge. The challenge isn't can you eat it. The challenge is can you eat it in less than an hour. I kind of feel like I might try this because I couldn't help but notice that there are barely any names on the board for that one. Apparently very few people have done that. And, well, I like those kinds of things just for the sake of getting my name on something that very few people have done. So, people apparently travel to Duluth just to try this challenge. I had no idea. But I thought it was cool. I doubt I'll actually try it. But who knows? Maybe I will. And if I do, I'll report back. And I'll tell you guys how I defeated the food. Boy, it would be really embarrassing if I went and it took me like an hour and 5 minutes though, wouldn't it? Like, what if it took you an hour and 2 minutes? How pissed off would you be? Because it would cost you $38. But if you can finish it in under an hour, it's free. So that's a huge incentive for me. Because I really don't want to spend $40 on a meal. That sounds ridiculous. I couldn't. $40 is a lot of money. So you better finish that under the 60-minute mark, otherwise you're going to have a big bill. Anyways, I thought this stuff was interesting. I wanted to share it because I thought it was interesting. I hope you found it interesting. And of course, I guess you could just do the reverse if you wanted to decrease your appetite. But for those of you who are trying to increase your appetite because you're trying to gain weight, maybe pay attention to what competitive eaters do. It seems to work for them. These guys put down huge quantities of food. So, anyways, if you like the video, like the video. If you have experience with this, maybe you're a competitive eater, comment below. I'd love to hear it. Maybe you have some secret strategy that you can share with us that, people can implement for themselves. Competitive eating is a crazy thing, man. I don't know how people manage to eat that many hot dogs or that many hamburgers and stuff like that and don't just throw it up. I would get sick. But maybe there's a trick to it. So, if you guys like this kind of content, just talking about nutrition and behavior and weird hacks, or mass gaining, for those of us who are trying to get into that 300-pound class, open class is what it's about, man. I told you guys, I'm working on the height thing. As soon as I'm like 6'8", 6'9", I'm heading to 400 pounds and I'm going to win the world's strongest man. I just got to get that height thing figured out first. I'm not sure how they figured that one out. I don't know what those guys are doing to get so tall. I heard there's something about fish oil, actually. In Iceland, they all consume cod liver oil. I don't know if it's too late for me to try that. I mean, I'm only 38, so. All right, hey. I hope it was fun. Hope it was informative. Hope you guys enjoyed it and found it interesting, even if it's just weird and you're not going to ever use it. I hope it was interesting. So, subscribe to the channel if you guys like this stuff. Thanks for your time. And I hope this helps even just one person. I really do. I have so many people message me and tell me that they can't eat enough to gain weight. And that sucks because I've tried moving weight classes and it's hard. My body really does not like to gain weight. It's very, very hard for me. It's almost like my body fights me every step of the way. I have a hard time moving up in weight class, at least in quality weight. It's easy to get fat. It's hard to gain muscle. It's hard to pack on mass if you're trying to make it muscle. That's a different story. I hear you guys. When you tell me you need to move up in weight classes for powerlifting or whatever, I'm like, yep, that's a hell of a fight. Sucks just as much as dieting. It really does. It sucks in either direction. So, like I said, I hope this helps even just one person, but hopefully I can just link this video to people from now on when you guys tell me you have a low appetite. Thanks for your time.